Now let me read it, verse 1 and 2 here of the 25th chapter of the book of Leviticus. And the Lord spoke unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, and we go back now to Mount Sinai. Why? Well, you couldn't put this into effect in Mount Sinai. It's to be in effect when they get in the land. Verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord. Now, this is amazing. Here is a Sabbath for the land as well as for man. The seventh day is for man, and the seventh year is for the land. That's interesting. And rest in these verses means literally keeping of a Sabbath, by the way, where in Hebrews God says in chapter 4, verse 9, there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God, for he that is entered into his rest. And that means into the keeping of a Sabbath. What kind of Sabbath? This is redemption rest. Hasn't anything in the world to do with the day here. He also hath ceased from his own works, as God did from his. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. Now, we come here to the fact that letting the land lie fallow every seventh year did the land good, and it also was good for the vineyards to do that. And God required that they lie fallow. And notice how he did it. Verses 3 and 4, 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard. Gather in the fruit thereof, but in the seventh year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard. Now, this matter of letting the land lie fallow is something that my Southland learned to its sorrow. Is a pretty good business. A great deal of the land in the South for years was planted with cotton every year, year after year, year after year. And what happened? The land was worn out. And a great deal of that land, they do not believe that it can ever be restored. Well, I think it could. I'm no authority, of course. But I think in time, of course, it would be restored. But the important thing is you wear it out. This was a good agricultural move that God suggested to him. It's quite interesting that God would know all about farming, isn't it? But he seems to have known all about farming. And the sabbatic year now is related, as he makes it clear here, to the land. It couldn't be observed any other place but to the land.